but you never knew that there was anything more than gold.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for songs that we absolutely love, even though they're clearly rip-offs.
Can't you hear the thunder?
Number 20, Are You Gonna Be My Girl? Jet. When Jet released the song Are You Gonna Be My Girl, it was such an enduring success that they could comfortably live off the royalties for the rest of their lives.
So 1, 2, 3, take my hand and come with me because you look so fine that I really want to make you mine.
But here's the problem. The song clearly took from the drum beat and bass approach that Iggy Pop featured on his classic track Lust for Life.
Here comes Johnny.
However, it turns out that both of these songs are heavily indebted to You Can't Hurry Love by the Supremes, which was famously covered by Phil Collins. Listening to these three tracks back to back to back, there's no denying the similarities. Thankfully, though, all three are fantastic tunes. Number 19, Cigarettes and Alcohol, Oasis. Oasis were never afraid to borrow from their predecessors. In fact, lead singer Noel Gallagher has been pretty open about his tendency to reinvent other people's riffs and melodic ideas. The band's legendary single, Cigarettes and Alcohol, is a prime example of this. It's so similar to T-Rex's 1971 hit Bang-A-Gong, Get It On, that there's no way that Noel didn't take major influence.
Get it on.
Gallagher is a well-documented fan of T-Rex, so there should be no confusion over this one. T-Rex's glammed-up 70s rock sure does sound fresh with the 90s update, though. There's no denying that. Number 18, Folsom Prison Blues, Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash had dozens of classic songs over the years, but no one track got him in as much hot water as Folsom Prison Blues did.
I hear the train a-comin', it's rolling around a bend.
Cash unquestionably lifted the first line from Gordon Jenkins' Crescent City Blues and added it to his own song without crediting Jenkins as a composer.
I hear the train a-comin', it's rolling round the bend.
This unfortunately led to a pretty expensive payout of $75,000 from the Man in Black, as well as a much-deserved official credit for Jenkins.
Well, I know I had it coming, I know I can't be free.
The lawsuit didn't happen until 13 years after the song's initial creation, when it was re-released on Cash's seminal album, Live at Folsom Prison. Thankfully, Gordon Jenkins got justice in the end.
And I'd let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away.
Number 17, Hello, I Love You, The Doors. Within The Doors' catalog, Hello, I Love You is definitely one of the lighter and breezier songs.
Hello, I love you, won't you tell me your name?
Turns out, it wasn't entirely of their own creation, though. Ray Davies of the Kinks didn't really seem to care that much about any legal resolution. He just wanted the band to admit that their song sounded like his all day and all of the night.
Girl, I want to be with you all of the time, all day and all of the night.
Jim Morrison was quick to agree that the songs were incredibly similar. Eventually, there was a legal battle and a settlement was reached, and it doesn't appear as though there are any hard feelings on either side. These things tend to happen in music, we guess.
Hello.
Number 16, Creep, Radiohead. If Radiohead retired directly after the release of their debut album Pablo Honey, there's a good chance they'd still be reeling in the cash thanks to their single Creep.
When you were before, couldn't look you in the eye.
Or at least they would have, if they weren't forced to sign away some of the songwriting credits to Albert Hammond and Mike Hazelwood.
But I'm a creep.
Creep sounds way too much like the duo's track The Air That I Breathe to be a coincidence. The track is a bona fide pop classic, most famously covered by the Hollies in 1974. Thankfully, Radiohead definitely did not have a creative peak with their first attempt, going on to release several of the most critically acclaimed albums in music history.
I don't
Number 15, Come As You Are, Nirvana. Kurt Cobain was just about as upfront as it could be about anything and everything.
Come as you are, as you were.
So when Nirvana were set to release Come As You Are as a single from their iconic album Nevermind, he admitted that he was nervous because he had accidentally ripped off the song 80s by Killing Joke. Listening to the two tracks, the similarities are uncanny. Supposedly, the members of Killing Joke were pretty irritated by this, and understandably so, but a lawsuit never fully materialized. The band later commented that they felt Nirvana handled the situation poorly, but still, in terms of quality, both songs managed to stand up independently of each other. Number 14, Given to Fly, Pearl Jam. No band wants to be stuck in a long and drawn-out lawsuit over the type of innocent creative mistake that can happen to anyone. For Pearl Jam, they happened to accidentally steal from one of the most prolific musical plagiarizers in history, Led Zeppelin.
Made up my mind, make a new start.
So the idea of Robert Plant and Jimmy Page lawyering up because the band's hit Given to Fly sounds like Zeppelin's Going to California would be a bit rich. Plant himself seemed to take the whole thing in good faith and even joined Pearl Jam to sing their song before segueing into Going to California. No ugly legal battle needed here, folks. Number 13, M.O.R., Blur. Damon Albarn and Blur were actively paying tribute to the great David Bowie and Brian Eno when they took the chord structure from Boys Keep Swinging and created M.O.R.
It's automatic. You need to unload.
The song never tries to hide its influence, but that doesn't mean that Blur initially credited the duo correctly.
When you're a boy, you can wear a uniform.
Bowie and Eno's names were only added as songwriters after the song was released, a retroactive addition that ensured these two music icons would earn their fair share of royalties. The songs are so unmistakably linked that not crediting either Bowie or Eno would have been a little ridiculous. Number 12, I Saw Her Standing There, The Beatles. The 1960s were certainly a different time when it came to borrowing musical ideas. Just look at Come Together and its similarities to Chuck Berry's You Can't Catch Me. Paul McCartney made absolutely no attempts to hide the fact that he stole the bass riff from I'm Talking About You, also by Chuck Berry, and used it to drive the rhythm behind the Beatles' I Saw Her Standing There.
She wouldn't dance with another.
Berry, who had also taken heavy influence from another artist or two in his heyday, didn't seem to mind all that much.
I'm talking about you. Nobody but you.
To this day, it remains one of McCartney's most memorable bass performances, even though it's not actually his own. Number 11, Dazed and Confused, Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin were never afraid to go shopping for melodic ideas from their predecessors.
Been dazed and confused for so long, it's not true.
We could have easily featured Stairway to Heaven or Whole Lotta Love here, but when Jimmy Page basically stole Jake Holmes' song Dazed and Confused for Led Zeppelin's debut album, he could have at least credited him.
You're out to get me, you're on the right track.
Unfortunately, Page had no intention of sharing songwriting royalties, even though he didn't even change the track's original name. After Holmes tried to reach out to Page in the 80s, he received no response. In 2010, he finally started a lengthy legal battle for his well-deserved credit, which was finally resolved in 2025 with a settlement 58 years after he originally released the song.
I want you again. Yes, I do, I do, I do.
Number 10, Love Me Tender, Elvis Presley.
Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go.
Elvis Presley's legendary 1956 hit single Love Me Tender is one of the most perfectly constructed love songs of all time, a delicately sung and beautifully written ode to the author's beloved. But this song wasn't just plucked out of thin air, at least not in its entirety. Its melody is actually identical to the old Civil War tune Ora-Lee.
As the blackbird in the spring 'neath the willow tree.
To the point where its composer George R. Polton was actually credited on Presley's updated version. Call it a modified or even an improved take on the song if you'd like, but Love Me Tender has roots that stretch far beyond 20th century music.
For my darling, I love you, and I always will.
Number 9. Stay With Me, Sam Smith.
Oh, won't you stay with me? 'Cause you're all I need.
Any songwriter will tell you that plagiarism isn't always intentional, and in Sam Smith's case, they claim that any similarities between their 2014 smash hits Stay With Me and Tom Petty's iconic I Won't Back Down are merely a coincidence.
Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down.
In fact, Smith says they never even heard the song before they were forced to hand over songwriting royalties to Petty and his co-writer Jeff Lynne. It's hard to deny that the melodies are similar, but it did raise an interesting debate over what is considered plagiarism in music. We know we love both songs, and who knows, maybe Smith is right and their choruses just happen to sound the same. I guess we'll never know for sure.
But darling, stay with me.
Number 8. Viva La Vida, Coldplay.
I used to rule the world. Seas would rise when I gave the word.
Coldplay well and truly burst out of their indie rock with the pop stomper Viva La Vida in 2008. A huge commercial success for them, even by the band's lofty standards. But according to the legendary guitarist Joe Satriani, Chris Martin and company lifted the vocal melody of the verse directly from his instrumental track, If I Could Fly. This one is hard to defend. You can hear just how the chord progression and guitar solo mirror Martin's opening lines. In fact, this song has been attacked from all angles with accusations of plagiarism, with everyone from Yusef/Cat Stevens to the Italian 18th century composer Alessandro Perisati being pointed to as potential sources for the melody.
Never an honest word, but that was when I ruled the world.
Number 7. Bittersweet Symphony, The Verve. 1990s Britpop didn't get too much better than the Verve's Bittersweet Symphony, but even though it remains one of the most beloved songs of the decade, it's not exactly an entirely original piece. Sure, the Verve received permission from the record label Decca Records to use a sample of an orchestral version of the Rolling Stones song The Last Time. But not doing the same with the song's composition rights owner, former Stones manager Alan Klein, turned out to be a hugely expensive decision. The Verve ended up being forced to lose out on all royalties from the song, estimated to be a figure in the millions, before Mick Jagger and Keith Richards eventually signed over the rights to the Verve in 2019. Number 6. Life on Mars, David Bowie.
It's a god-awful small affair to the girl with the mousy hair.
It might seem odd, but long before he was a globally recognized superstar, David Bowie was a struggling songwriter working for a record label rewriting foreign hits in the English language. After his translation for the French song Comme d'habitude was rejected by Frank Sinatra in favor of Paul Anka's My Way, Bowie got some revenge.
And now the end is near, and so I face
the final curtain.
He borrowed the song's chord progression and created one of the most memorable songs of the 70s, Life on Mars. Call it plagiarism or good old-fashioned payback, but there's no denying the similarities. Both My Way and Life on Mars are 10 out of 10s in our book.
This is life on Mars.
Number 5. Surfin' USA, The Beach Boys.
If everybody had an ocean across the USA.
The Beach Boys were most certainly one of the most original and innovative bands of their time, but that didn't mean that they were immune from accusations of plagiarism. Their 1963 hit Surfin' USA very clearly is greatly influenced by Chuck Berry's 1958 ode to young girls, Sweet Little 16.
They really rock it in Boston and Pittsburgh, PA, deep in the heart of Texas and round the Frisco Bay.
Lyrical content differences aside, they're basically the same song. Beach Boys lead singer Brian Wilson rejected the idea of conscious plagiarism, but he was eventually forced to list Berry as a songwriter on the track, and it's pretty easy to see why.
Everybody's gonna surfing USA.
Number 4. Dani California, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Getting born in the state of Mississippi, Papa was a copper and Mama was a hippie.
The Red Hot Chili Peppers have been known for their mind-bending riffery and complex onstage jamming for years, but in contrast, their 2006 hit Dani California is pretty straightforward. So much so, in fact, that its 4-chord progression on the verse was deemed to be very similar to Mary Jane's Last Dance by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
She grew up in an Indiana town, had a good-looking mama who never was around.
To be fair, while the exact chords used differ, the tone and drive of the verses are strikingly similar. But Petty, who had been around the block at that point in time, was quick to play down any rumors of legal action, giving the Peppers a pass while saying that these things happen in rock and roll. A noble gesture indeed. Number 3. The Lion Sleeps Tonight, The Tokens.
In the jungle, the quiet jungle, the lion sleeps tonight.
One of the most famous and heartbreaking stories of song theft of all time is undoubtedly the tale of Solomon Linda and Mbube. This song was improvised and recorded by Linda in South Africa in 1939, where he then sold its rights for the equivalent of about $2. Fast forward 20 years, and the song has been adapted for international audiences into The Lion Sleeps Tonight by The Tokens, generating millions of dollars for people who had nothing to do with its creation. Linda, on the other hand, was living in poverty and would die in 1962, 46 years before he received his songwriting credit, and his estate eventually earned royalties for his work. Number 2. Down Under, Men at Work. Men at Work's legendary 1981 hit Down Under noticeably uses the melody of the Australian nursery rhyme Kookaburra as part of its flute arrangement.
Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, eating all the gumdrops he can see.
According to the band, this was done as an in-joke and tribute to the tune and its Aussie roots. The rest of the song is totally original. However, a record label called Larrikin Records, which owns the rights to Kookaburra, ended up successfully taking Men at Work to court for a slice of the royalties the song had earned. Fans of the band were outraged that a very obvious nod to a well-known melody was considered to be a theft of property. But according to plagiarism laws, Men at Work were still at fault.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. My Sweet Lord, George Harrison.
My Lord, my sweet Lord.
George Harrison lost many battles to be heard during his run with the Beatles, but when each member dove into their respective solo careers, it was clear that Harrison came out on top. His legendary album All Things Must Pass is a bona fide classic. Still, George was forced to admit that he accidentally ripped off the song He's So Fine by the Chiffons when writing one of his signature hits, My Sweet Lord. You can really hear why this was one of the most famous plagiarism cases in music history. The songs are extremely similar. Does it detract from My Sweet Lord as a listening experience in the slightest, though? Fortunately, it does not. What ripoff song do you think surpasses the song it allegedly stole from? Let us know in the comments below.